kind of changing the subject, we spoke a little bit the other day to the education minister about the mental health in our area, or in our province. There's been a huge increase in anxiety, depression, and even, suicidal ideations, especially with young children. Is there any plans or funds or any education that to help the quality of care for mental health in especially our youth in the province?
The mental health issue is indeed challenging. It is interesting, though, it goes back to the fact that it's not about money. It is about vacancies in the system that we do not have people to fill. The amount of young people seeking mental health assistance. Is that you over here? I found the number so shocking that I had to check it again. But this is a horrendous statistic. The amount of young people getting treatment for mental health last year was 2,103. This year, 1 year later, 4,171. In 1 year. Double young people seeking, not seeking, receiving. These are people who are receiving care for mental health issues by the Department of Health. Doubled. We have the budget. We can't keep up hiring enough people to treat these young people. It goes back to the human resources problem. It's not about no budget. The budget is there. It's not about saying we don't have any money, we're not going to do it. It's not about saying we cut positions. Positions are there and they're funded. We can't find people, professional people, to go in and do it. And, I have my less than sophisticated view on things, perhaps. I think there's a lot of issues that young people need help with. One of them is coping skills, Life is not television, Life has its ups and downs and bumps along the way. And, people say, I have a right to be happy. Well, you don't. Sometimes there's things that happen. A right is something you can sue for. A right is something that gives you a cause of action that you're entitled to. Well, you have the right to pursue happiness. You have the right to make the best of things. And, I believe that in many respects, young people today have an addiction. This is my own opinion, and I'm not a mental health expert, but they have an addiction, and the addiction is not drugs. The addiction's the internet. The addiction is spending hour after hour after hour after hour in front of a screen chasing unrealistic things. Get out in your community, help people. Work in a food bank after school. I think there's a lot of things that young people can be doing. And, there's more to life than the fornication habits of the Kardashians. It's just the way it is. And people get obsessed with this kind of stuff and watch this nonsensical reality TV. They sit on this internet and surf whatever that is, surf. They need to get out. Join the Girl Guides. Join the Brownies, the Cubs. Go play sports. Go things like that. Fewer and fewer and fewer kids are doing that. They come home from school, they sit in front of this computer, they hole up, and they live in a cocoon of fiction. That's just me editorializing on my own, and I happen to believe that, and I really think that this stuff, there's a bit of a curse to it, and with all the benefits that knowledge has brought us, there are also a kind of a more negative side to it. So those are some of the statistics with mental health, and some of it is, in my view, these young people need to cope. They need to realize that they have to be part of their own solution, and we need to give them, help in that regard.
Thank you to the minister, through the chair. I know just in the short time that I work at the hospital, like you say, it's doubled in the last couple of years, the kids that are being treated, and we've seen that drastically. The amount of kids, and they seem to get younger all the time, 11, 12, 13-year-old coming in, suicidal ideation and severe depression. They don't have the coping skills that they need. Parenting's different now than it was years ago, and I'm kind of old school, I'd like to think. Parents don't like to say no to their kids, and learning the hard way as they grow up has become more challenging. One of our local schools back home has started a program after a suicide last year, the year before, with one of our kids, and it's great to see them, taking action and trying to get ahead of it before the unimaginable happens, and maybe support groups or something province-wide, in different areas or something that may help, rather than trying to find a person for every person, or a professional for every person. Having support groups where kids would kind of like alcoholic support groups and things of that nature. If they were able to get together as a group, they might feel more comfortable in opening up and sharing their stories with somebody else. Might be, and as you say, with technology and everybody on the internet, and the internet being so accessible to them, have they ever thought about using technology and kind of the same thing as doctors online or whatever online that they can have access to, and be able to as they're home surfing, be able to talk to somebody face to face and have that immediate help if they need it?
Well, Mr. Chair, the member has just laid out the strategy for youth mental health for the Department of Health. So I don't know whether you're looking to be an assistant deputy minister or something, but the truth of the matter is, those are the exact initiatives that need to be made. You're right.
I just thought of it as
you hit the nail on the head. It is peer support. It is using the internet for positive things. It is building stronger families and things of that nature. So I don't really have a question to answer, because basically the presuppositions of your question are so precisely on point and accurate that I have nothing much more to say than good for you, and why don't you send your resume?
Thank you, Minister. Through the chair, I would be more than happy to be a part of anything that will help this issue, and
So in the short term, we need your vote.
if we can fix this, you have my vote. Completely lost my train of thought. Now you got me going. Yeah, so if you can commit to a program, or if we can, if you get something started, I would love to be a part of anything that we can do to help. We hear so many stories of people coming to the ER. I've just read something on social media last night of somebody going to the ER with a list of, what psychosomatic problems that he had, and different symptoms that he had for depression and stuff, and basically was told that he was fine, and they leave more defeated than when they went in.